Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself, and welcome to this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to another exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin. This evening's scene takes place at the Pinocchio Ristorante, a Michelin star restaurant that is located in the centre of Dublin, known for its fine and authentic Italian cuisine as well as its rather enviable wine list. This evening, three kindred will approach the outer exterior of the building, the lights shining down on them as they take their first steps up the excuse me, as they take the first steps up towards the door. You will see two large men dressed in business suits standing outside the door. One of them has a clipboard in their hand. Clearly, this place is rather exclusive. He will look down at you through mirrored shades and he will say, "Name."
All right. I approach Ryan Famo.
Relius Dugall.
Cornelius Fletcher.
Your names aren't on the list, sir.
It's surprising. This is the part where you wish you had Dominate. What was the name of the gentleman we were supposed to be meeting?
Mr. Medici.
Excuse me, gentlemen. We are here for a business meeting in regards to a man named Mr. Medici. You wouldn't happen to know anything about this meeting, would you?
Oh, my apologies, sir. You're that group of gentlemen. Would you like to step inside?
Gladly.
He
With
will push
pleasure.
He will push open the door for you.
See, all you got to do is not get cocky and just say the right thing.
Inside, you are greeted by before even the smells of the wonderful food graces your nostrils, you hear the sound of a pianist playing a beautiful melody, and you hear a woman singing a song from Don Giovanni's Carmen. Beautiful soprano. Her voice seems to invoke almost the emotions of freedom, the concept of being free in each one of you. The restaurant itself is sumptuously decorated. The art on the walls is breathtaking, each one lit by its own small miniature light that shines down luminescence on them, though the restaurant itself maintains a dark and mysterious enchantite atmosphere. The tables, there aren't that many tables, and even though it's quite a large floor space, you'd reckon it probably has a seating capacity of about 40, maybe 40, 50. So the tables are all very, very sumptuously carved from a black hardwood, you guess maybe mahogany. So they're all very big. The chairs are very heavy and substantial, but also look quite comfortable. This evening at this time, there's only a handful of diners in the restaurant itself, but the guard will indicate that you are to take a side staircase that leads up onto a small balcony that overlooks the musician as she is playing. Up here, there's only a single table that is set for a single person. And as you step up onto the second floor, that figure will raise his head as he sips wine from a glass, from a fine glass in front of him, and he will say, "Ah, gentlemen, welcome, buongiorno."
Greetings.
Greetings, sir. May I sit?
Fun fact: there are no other chairs.
Fuck.
He is literally sitting at the only chair up here.
Time to sit on the foot now.
I shall make a chair.
This is the shittest power play I've ever seen. What am I going to do? Stand over him?
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm going to kneel on the floor and let my back be a chair for Ryan.
You know what? Whatever. Let's go for that.
That is the weirdest thing this guy has seen in a really long time. Okay.
This is perfectly normal for me.
I look confused for a moment, but since we're psychically linked, I've kind of caught on to this shit. So I just nonchalantly sit in the chair that is,
sit in the Relius.
Yeah.
If you'd asked, I could have had a chair provided.
I'm quite comfy, thank you.
I mean,
I'd quite enjoy a chair.
to be fair, you knew this meeting was going to happen. I assume that you imagine. I imagine you wanted to be short then, given the fact that you have not laid out seating arrangements.
No, I admittedly didn't expect this to last terrifically long. Viante, sciante mercy, Mato Venye. Chairs will, in fact, be brought out. If it helps, you've somewhat literally taken this guy. You know how you can be taken back a step? No. You've taken him back about 5 meters into the swimming pool, face down.
We have taken the initiative within the social interaction.
Fix my net! Sorry, that was. Hang on, let me.
Why do you have a whistle?
It's a trench whistle. It's for colony-related purposes.
And totally not a memento de morte, but that was an excellent idea.
Yeah.
For the record, he is eating something, but he places his knife and his fork down and he kind of interweaves his fingers. He will gesture and he will say, "Please, you have my undivided attention."
Grazie.
Prego.
I've been practicing my Italian for this. Scusi informazione, per favor. I need information. I need the information.
I know what it means.
Yeah. I don't speak Italian, just for reference, so not a fucking clue.
Does Ryan
Google Translate.
Does Ryan speak Italian?
Ryan, I think he knows Latin.
No, you don't. Italian and Latin are nearly entirely different. But he'll say, "So, in what regards can I provide you said information, Monsieur? Monsieur Formo?"
Well, you see, funnily enough, I don't know if you have heard recently, there was an incident at a stadium.
I hadn't.
Well, the situation was rather dire. A large beast of lupine descent came down into the crowd and slaughtered its way through, well, practically hundreds of people. It was fruitful, to say the least. But point being, this beast was linked back to the Pentex Corporation, a corporation that I'm sure that you are aware that your finances are somewhat intertwined with.
Do you understand how the Pentex Corporation works, Monsieur?
If I did, I would not be asking.
Ah, wonderful. Pentex is an umbrella company. It's a term, more so than anything else, made up of dozens of smaller subsidiaries, such as, for example, Far Beverages, Wright and Brick Oil, Sharon Pharmaceuticals, etc.
That is indeed what a corporation is.
Exactly. So, to say that we have business interests is apt. We have business interests in certain subsidiaries thereof would be more apt to say. But you seem like fine, enterprising individuals, so I will not argue semantics with you. So, you require my help to ascertain what exactly?
Well, you see, after making an assessment of a body that recently came to our possession, we established a rather disturbing precedent that the blood being produced by the humanoid being was, well, though useful for a human being, entirely useless for us kindred.
We weren't supposed to disclose that information.
I'm just gonna book a little bit.
Yeah. Anyway, look, it doesn't matter. You got to give a bit to get a bit.
I think you'll find with the Giovanni, you give an inch, they take a foot. But go on.
Yeah. Well,
I choose to point out, Relius is the master of losing his feet.
Yeah.
It's true.
1 foot in the grave.
I understand. So, this individual sparked your curiosity.
Yeah, certainly did. As you can understand, I'm sure that is a rather dangerous president, as before mentioned, and well, it would be, well, frankly, existential were the thing to spread further.
I see. So, you're asking me what?
What I'm asking you specifically is simply that we need additional information on the Pentex Corporation. Though I know not the entire of the point. Does my character remember the name of the pharmaceutical company?
Yes, he actually just said it in his list of subsidiaries. It's called Sharon.
He did, but I haven't slept in like 20 hours. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's fine. It's called Sharon.
If you don't remember, I certainly do.
Okay, well, if the good doctor would care to fill you in the question department.
Which one of us is the good doctor?
The one who's not a chair.
Ah, good point. Good point. Love it.
Well,
As are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
He's waiting for Connor to speak to him.
So as I said, I was the doctor that tended to the body, so I saw the situation firsthand. It was
one of the doctors.
Continue.
For the record, the Giovanni, he kind of wrinkles his nose at the lack of decorum. Like,
Forgive my compatriot. His etiquette is somewhat lacking for a psychiatrist, but his talents are still useful.
I am a chair at the moment. It isn't easy.
He has an unfortunate habit of talking at inopportune times.
I'll show you inopportune.
Keep talking, Chair.
If you're not going to take this meeting seriously, gentlemen, I shall bid you good evening. He stands up out of his chair.
I will make it quick then. The point being, we desire information in regards to the pharmaceutical company, as aforementioned. Specifically what we don't know, but something that might have been helpful towards it.
Charm Pharmaceuticals, from what I led to understand, is currently a leading world marketeer in anti-aging products. It has been leading the market in terms of its rejuvenation revitalization formulas since about the 1960s. Currently, they are attempting to use stem cell research and other more innovative practices in order to speed up cell regeneration, from what little I'm led to understand on the topic.
Quick question. Am I able to recall what subsidiary the werewolf was actually part of?
No, because it wasn't. The werewolf was the reason the werewolf was linked to it is because
the bag, I think it was, or something.
Beg your pardon?
The bag, wasn't it? Had a Pentex Corporation logo on it or something.
I'm fairly sure it was ID. We found an ID.
Yes, you did. You found it was a finance. Oh, you are right. Sorry, it was Inracom Financial Services Limited.
Yeah.
Right, that's it. Yeah.
I would also like to inquire about Inracom Financial Services, if you could fill us in on that.
Inracom Financial Services doesn't exist. Well, when I say it doesn't exist, it does as a shill on paper. Pentex uses it as a clearinghouse in order to pay employees that it wants to keep off the books.
So it is a face for their more illicit dealing.
Needless to say, there are entire armies of mercenaries in South America and the Congo that protect Pentex's interests that are paid via the monogram of being representatives of said financial institution that does not exist yet does.
I see.
Curious.
And I'm afraid if I overstep, but is there anything that you might know of why they are suddenly so invested in this city?
And that answer is obvious, and you don't need me to answer it. You just have to look up you just have to pick up a newspaper. It's because under various different shill corporations, Pentex are currently backing the political party Ireland's own for the next election, the far right movement, to be exact.
Always ever profitable.
Indeed.
Wonder why Ireland?
Because due to the civil unrest that was caused in due to the civil unrest that was caused after the excitation of the United Kingdom from the European Union, and the fact that currently the European Union itself, along with the Russian Federation, are at each other's throats, well, it would take just one more powder keg in order to set off a very large and unpleasant eruption. After all, as your friend said, war is good for business.
Is, but not very good for the Shadowlands.
He shrugs. There have been 6 maelstroms. What's a 7th?
Yeah.
I, of course, speak figuratively. I'm well aware of the concept of how devastating that would be. However, if you want to investigate Pentex, it's an interesting conundrum that you face. Because it's like trying to investigate a snake, in the sense that the snake is always twisting and turning. You're never exactly sure how to nail it down.
I like that allegory. Just so you know, I like that allegory.
Thank you. But the lupine in question that you encountered, I can give you some information on, and I will do this out of a generous spirit, shall we say, and the fact that currently one of your number is doing a substantial favor for me. So, with that in mind, the lupine in question is part of an organization that I was led to understand are currently operating in this city called the Six Thorns of Black. Meaning, of course, there are 6 of them. They are, insofar as exists, specialist units that Pentex deploy when it is they deem an operation to be necessary of their strategic skill. If you've killed one of them, congratulations.
I have, if I may interject so kindly, your lordshipness.
Your manners are an improvement.
So you mean to tell me that one of the great Black Thorns of Black was killed by a man who is currently servicing as a chair?
I have many talents, good sir. Please don't let my chair acting be a hindrance to them.
I'm sure you can take a good guess of where his blood originates from.
The sewer?
Yes. Sons of Malkav are versatile, if a little eccentric.
I did like that. Where does his blood originate? The sewer.
Connor very nearly agreed there.
It was you're trying not to turn him into a real fucking chair. Like,
there's actually a mage wrote, and I fucking love it, called The Amazing Spectacular Vampire Lawn Chair. Which is how you turn a vampire into a lawn chair. Moving on.
I need to find this person, and I need to talk to them.
But he'll say, so, is that all I can do for you, gentlemen? Or do you have anything else you'd wish to know?
I feel you've been very generous in your divulgences. I thank you for your time.
Connor, make me an intelligence medicine check.
Okay. I'll assume none of my specialties apply.
Nope, it will be standard diff, however.
Evan?
Yes, dear.
Might I see if the Madness Network says a damn thing about this guy?
Madness Network isn't really a mechanical thing, but I'll let you roll willpower. Roll willpower.
And
Four
that's what I mean.
successes.
Just listen to whispers.
I was also going to ask if I could use Auspex on this individual.
Oh my god, I keep messing
On the
up.
Giovanni, sure.
Yes.
Hmm?
Now I need to remember what the roll is.
It's perception. What are you trying to do? Aspect 2?
2, yeah.
Perception.
Or perception, empathy. Ooh, I'm not a very nice person. This isn't going to be.
Assuming 6 is a success, 1, 2, 3, 4.
It was going to be 8 for success.
And then it is 1, 2, 3.
Okay. What exactly are you trying to listen for?
Just if I'm 100% honest, anything that's been said about him, rumors, things pertaining to him, just being in his proximity, are there any odd, vague whispers or odd thoughts in my head coming to mind?
Okay.
It's funny how easy the blood washes out of the notes. One little rub and it's all gone. Rub, rub, rub.
So. Four successes for the medicine check and 2 successes for the Auspex check.
Okay, with 2 successes, you get his dominant emotion, which is he's incredibly. Yeah, he's disgusted at the moment. He's literally disgusted. With vague hints of hints of revulsion.
Ugh.
Yes, personified. He is most assuredly a vampire.
We should have just tied Relius to a lamppost outside.
Just to if I may interject, Your Holiness.
No, you may not.
Shut up, Cornelius.
You've made enough damage already.
If I may interject one last time, it's easy how quickly the blood comes out of the money, isn't it?
The fuck is he talking about?
Ignore him.
Honestly,
is this
like
some kind of joke? You request a meeting only to come here and make fool of me multiple times. He calls me Your Holiness. What the fuck is with this? You fucking putanesca!
Hey, Miss Scusi, my friend here will be leaving now.
Actually, I'm gonna have this guy roll a frenzy check because he's really pissed.
Never killed a Giovanni before.
Oh, you fucking dolt.
If it comes to a
Bear in mind, this is his domain, so this is Giovanni domain given by the prince and all that good jazz.
Oh, you could have said that before, Evan.
I mean, you should always assume when you go to visit other clans in their homes that you're in their place.
I mean, yeah, but that was something I could have done with knowing a little more beforehand.
I'm getting the everything's on fire number ready.
Oh, shit. Well, everything is on fire, gentlemen. He failed his frenzy check.
Oh god.
He is going to spend a point of willpower. You see him, he has his hands on the table. You see the table crack under his fingers. So he is currently resisting the frenzy because unlike Bruja, you can do unless this is where if he was a Bruja, things would get really sad.
Yeah.
But there's a crack as to be fair, the difficulty of the frenzy roll wasn't that high. It was only going to be like difficulty 5, and then he rolled 2 1s, and the universe is made of sad. But he will just look up at you guys and he was like, "Out! All of you, out!"
With a bow of my head, I leave as quickly as possible.
I'm going to celerity without bowing and get out of there.
Okay.
I will apologize and leave.
Liam, does your character have common sense?
I do not think he does.
Okay.
You fucking idiot. You just used celerity in someone else's...
No, I didn't use it in Elysium. I used it in a domain. 2 very separate things.
Doesn't matter.
I mean, it does. There's no Keeper of Elysium here.
This is also a public spot.
Yep.
I mean, there's only one table up here and one thing.
Yeah, but you have to run downstairs in order to leave.
Oh, yeah. Okay, fair enough. I fucked up.
So Relius will speed out of there with supernatural grace and affinity. You guys will hear the sound of something that sounds. You know that wonderful sound where it sounds like something is valuable when it breaks. It sounds like something is valuable when it shatters.
Yes.
That was probably the crystal wine decanter, and it was probably that is probably something that is sad to have been lost to the world. You guys are going to reconvene outside where I sense words may be had, but yes, he basically blitzes down the stairs. With the preternatural speed of celerity, because obviously when you use celerity, you can tell you've used celerity. It is moving with superhuman grace and speed. Because what it does, it essentially double. The way it works is, particularly with celerity, is it doubles your movement speed. Because you take basically when you spend the blood to use it, you essentially take 2 actions. So even if you've not got a great dexterity pool and you can only run so far in a turn, and that fire might not be very impressive, well, you essentially double that, and that naturally knocks it into superhuman distances and speed. Yeah, so you guys will reconvene outside. The Goombas kind of give you both kind of one of these wonderful looks of, huh? As you guys run between, as Relius runs between them out into the night, and you guys will follow out.
I'm sorry, but Liam right now is literally just like antagonized. Like,
I'm just gonna. Ryan, you're so fucked because.
How so?
Do you remember what the Seneschal said?
I recall the Seneschal making a distinct reference to his contact with infernalism and none of anything else.
What's the Google Drive for, by the way?
I have no idea. Let's click it.
I was gonna say, why is that?
You sent it.
It's Google. Oh, it's just a Google image of the Google Drive of the picture of Liam antagonizing.
Oh, okay, cool. Sorry. Continue.
Oh, okay.
Can I just ask, what did I get from my medicine check?
Oh yeah, shit, that was really important. So you know how I described a chemical that was in the blood of the it was called thiasterine.
Yeah.
Thiasterine is used to cause cells to continue to subdivide even after they should have frayed and ceased to subdivide. So if you were working on the concept of age reduction, that would be the best way to do it, because it would essentially give your cells the ability to continue to divide and be healthy for much longer periods. If you could get a body to produce it, it could dramatically increase the human regenerative capability, but not only that, drastically increase the human lifespan.
But would that have any effect on the hemoglobin of blood?
Very possibly, it would cause it to metabolize differently at a slower rate, maybe, or at a faster rate. There you go. So you guys will collect Liam, and you will be outside the restaurant proper. I will leave you gentlemen to roleplay amongst yourselves. I will interject if you summon me.
I could have sworn those were his thoughts I heard. I really can't get the hang of this tonight.
There are a number of words in Italian that I believe he failed to use.
Very probably.
In following order: bastardo, bocciole, cagone.
You truly have not noticed what I have attempted to do, dear Ryan, have you?
What have you attempted to do?
We got all that, and in his anger, he was unable to ask for anything in return.
And yet you've probably caused more harm than you have good.
He was giving that information freely.
Nothing from the Giovanni is free, I assure you.
Not at the moment, it is not.
Regardless, I'm one of the few people who has cost him more than he has paid.
By the Lord, I'm going to have to pull some serious voodoo to get that decanter out of the fucking Shadowlands.
Didn't know you could pull decanters from the Shadowlands. Interesting. Regardless, we have the information we require. So, Doctor, what say you next? You appear to have some small idea of what to do.
I do, though I don't feel any need to share it with you.
I mean, we're both doctors, after all.
Yes, and even so, one of us seems to have the child of an infant. But
I was going to say, do you want to rephrase that?
yes, I do. What the fuck happened there?
Child of an infant.
Yeah, I was like, I said that, and I was like, hang on a minute. Yeah, one of us seems to have the
everyone's
mental
just forgotten
capacity
how
of an
to speak.
infant.
Fine, move on.
I am disgusted. I am revolted.
Look, Doctor, regardless of how you feel towards my antics tonight, there was a very interesting thought popped into my head. I wondered it will either catch him off guard or it won't.
Or it will cause him to freak the fuck out, frenzy, and hit our guts. I already have enough problems with the Giovanni.
I mean, I personally thought that Giovanni had a little more tact than that, personally, but regardless.
Look, I don't know what you said and why you said it. I assumed it was something to do with that whimsical nature of Malkavians, but clearly it struck a note, an angry chord.
It did, but I'm not going to apologize for something I had no intent to cause. Certainly, I thought being your chair was quite fun, thank you. Regardless, before my antics switch once more and I'm forced to switch a persona, our plan, gentlemen. We have the names, we have the companies, and we have some information on their structuring and, of course, why they are backing Ireland's own. He now knows at least that there are 5 of those thorns remaining. What was it? Sorry, was it the thorns, Evan?
The 6 thorns are black, but one of them is dead, so now the 5 thorns are black.
Yeah, it is thorns then. Okay. Yeah, I got that right.
If I were a betting man, I'd say there'd be more than a thorn in our sides. If I were a funny man, I'd have made a joke about that. Fortunately, I'm neither. Let us act, gentlemen.
My point being, we need to find out what the Nosferatu are planning to do about that small raid we had discussed. That will probably be our first indication as to the inner workings of...
I guess we should have this conversation out of earshot.
I think that would be an intelligent idea, because now that we have informed him, and of course he has been gravely insulted, he may have reason to pass on what we have asked for to Pentex.
Well, thank the Lord there were no ghouls, or Rossellini for that matter, nearby.
I think he'll incriminate himself far more if he does let Pentex know.
Perhaps.
The promise of 1528 ensures he cannot interfere.
Well, regardless, let's move.
Yes.
Liam's phone, Relius's phone is going to start to buzz.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it.
The house is on fire.
It's ringing. Relax, I don't immediately go to fire. I'm not Anthony.
Okay, sorry, you said what? Sorry there, Evan?
It's actually ringing.
Oh, is there a caller ID?
It identifies itself as, I just want to find his picture. Give me a moment. This is going to be about half an hour later, realistically. As you guys are still probably traveling through the cityscape in order to go to your next engagement. Where did I put his picture? No. Oh, well, fuck it. I'll find it in a little bit. It identifies itself as Wordsworth aka your Primogen.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll pick it up. Wordsworth, my friend, to what do I owe the pleasure?
I'm curious, Relius. Why is it that I'm having people make certain accusations against my old friend?
Just to say, his old friend is me. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I apologize. I had the most brilliant and wonderful thought pop into my head, and I could not stop it escaping my throat. I will kiss as many boots as I must to apologize, but truly it was.
You fail to understand. Now then, I need validation of a fact. So all three of you are to come to my office immediately. Am I understood?
Of course, Wordsworth, please. You can use a lighter tone with me. I understand the severity of this.
Oh, do you? Well, excellent. Because I'm the one who's going to have to make answers for your follies.
Understandable, Wordsworth. We'll be there as soon as we can.
Okay.
Good evening.
So, yeah, you guys, do you go to the thing?
I mean, I will. It's up to them if they want to come along, but I imagine an invitation from a Primogen isn't one to turn down.
I am certainly not turning that down.
Oh, is that a new picture for Wordsworth?
It is, because I can't find the other one, but it'll do for now.
Okay.
Do you not wish to go around? You don't have to. You don't want to.
I'll go, but not because I want to.
So, Wordsworth's office is located in a rather upmarket area of Dublin. It's in the financial sector, but ironically, he doesn't do finance. He merely keeps an office in case he needs to actually be official in his position as Primogen. Ordinarily, he is how do I describe him? He is a philanthropist and a scholar. So he is well known for his knowledge on very, very odd and esoteric topics that he makes personal study of. He's also one of the oldest vampires in the city by quite a long margin. Nobody's really sure how old Hennessy is. Prince Thrain was embraced about the year 1200. And it's hinted that Wordsworth is about as old as he is. So, he's pretty old.
Okay. Yeah, no, he's biblical time.
No, 1200 as in he's about 800 years old. Not
Yeah.
biblical. Good lord.
Biblical as in Crusades and yeah.
Yes. So as you enter, Wordsworth is sitting behind a desk and he's drumming his fingers on the table. As you look at his hands, for the record, you'll see that he's wearing really, really thin, like those skin tight, thin latex gloves. On his hands.
I should get me a pair of those for myself. I just realized if my character doesn't like physical contact, why don't you just get a pair of gloves?
I know,
Thank
right?
you. You just gave me an epiphany.
You're welcome. He says, "Sit down, please."
Of course.
Relius, you are not to speak until I speak to you. Now then, gentlemen, I apologize for disrupting your evening in this manner. However, I have just had a very unpleasant conversation with the representatives of Clan Giovanni, who have told me some very disturbing things, and I need you to validate the claims, or indeed deny them. I hope you deny them, because if you don't, this is very, very serious. So, my apologies. I have met Mr. I'm going to say, because he's a friend of Relius, he's probably met Mr. Famo at least once.
Oh, certainly.
But my apologies. He'll say, extending his hand to Connor. A pleasure to make your acquaintance.
A pleasure to meet you as well. I just wish it was under better circumstances.
So, gentlemen, after offering offense to Clan Giovanni and their representative in the city via constant, I believe the term used was tomfoolery, would you say that term is apt?
I'm afraid it is.
To whose tomfoolery do you?
My apologies. That apparently Relius offended the Giovanni by constant tomfoolery.
That is. I would not say that exactly. His demeanor is as it always is. I think you know how the Giovanni are. Yes, they are antagonistic and vengeful. What's the word? Obviously, I would like to paint my friend in the most favorable picture possible, but I don't think that Connor here has any inclination of whitewashing the whole situation. So I'm just going to put it bluntly. Relius is, as Relius always is, and the Giovanni's being the Giovanni inevitably took that as an offense.
That is acceptable. But there are two more serious accusations here, and these are serious. That Relius did knowingly and openly defile the domain of the Giovanni by unsanctioned usage of powers of the blood, and also did openly breach the silence of the blood by performing these actions in view of mortals. That the Giovanni have now claimed that they will need to alter the memories of in order to maintain the masquerade. Is this accusation true?
You see, right? It's just one. Can we just like our character for a second, right? We probably would have had this conversation prior, to be honest.
Yep.
Liam, right? I know your character doesn't like Relius, okay? And I'll be honest, right? I don't want to start fucking blood war over Liam's character, but you know, so if we deny these accusations with putting our foot in it, because let's be honest, right? This guy can tell if we're lying, okay? Like,
I was just gonna say it's probably best to be honest in this case.
I was gonna say, be honest. Be honest. I'm expecting full recompense. Go ahead.
As I said, for the record, that there is no power that means he can automatically tell if you're lying to him. That is a revised power and doesn't exist anymore. Unless you've got like Mithra which is like the only power I know of that can actually lie tell for you.
There's Mithra. I think there's an Auspex ability that allows you to do it, but
it's an Auspex 2 power, but it doesn't exist anymore.
I'd say that one doesn't exist anymore.
So basically, I'm going to say it right now. You guys can lie to him if you want. By all means, feel free to. As a matter of fact, you two are both Ancilla, and one of you is a recognized member of a decent clan. So in theory, you could probably carry off the fact that the Giovanni are lying. That will just have its own consequences.
I am respected, and I'll be honest, right? I don't want to fucking piss off the Giovanni because I don't like car bombs. I
have an idea of what I want to do. And that is,
I'm just saying to you guys. Basically, you can go with your idea. You can go with your idea, Liam. That's fine. I'm merely pointing out you are not being shared. You do not have to do this. You can take this down a completely opposite direction if you want. You can lie your asses off. That's why the manipulation subterfuge skills exist. You can lie your asses off if you want, and you probably have enough clout to get it so that the Giovanni claims will be dismissed. But there would be then consequences, of course. And that's all I have to say on the topic. You guys can continue. He's asked, is this true, basically?
I'm just going to quickly say the fucking rumor's going to shit on you, Liam.
Like, yeah, to be fair, like, I'm not gonna get car bombed for somebody else's fuck up. Like, you know.
These are valid life choices.
I assume that, like, before I'm able to say anything, Connor's just gonna be like, "It was all him," and he did, like the fucking.
Where on the doll did the Relius? Pointing at the doll with the Relius.
Connor will hold silence for now and give the others the option to speak up first.
Fuck you, then.
I just love the image that it's like, crickets in Wordsworth's office for like 20 seconds.
Basically, it's like, is this true? And like Connor's just gonna do that really stiff pivot towards them, which kind of gives the confirmation that it is true, but he's not gonna say it and expects Relius to say it.
I'm not allowed to speak.
Oh yeah.
Mm. It is not my place to be lying to you, unfortunately. I cannot do such a thing. It is true he did use abilities of the blood in the presence of both the Giovanni in his domain and possibly attracted the ire of a Kain.
Looks at Connor.
This is true. I'm afraid.
I see. The Giovanni are wishing to settle this outside of the prince's remit, or rather not outside his remit, but without troubling the entire court on this matter. So, this is what will happen. Relius, do you acknowledge what your friends have said here as truth?
I do indeed.
Very well. It is because of my friendship with you that has lasted these many years that I am willing to pay half of the payment demanded by Clan Giovanni for your transgression. Sorry, were you going to say something, Connor, or like lit up like you're going to say?
He will speak.
Okay.
Sir, if I may interject, I would like to offer a what services I can, if it is preferred. I would not mind if you decided to extend a offer to the Giovanni that says that my services are at their disposal if they so wish.
As gratifying as that is, Mr. Fletcher, this is a burden that we must bear. It is only correct. So, with that in mind, Clan Malkavian will extend to the Giovanni a major boon, and Relius will extend a personal major boon to Florin de Medici for breaking his domain. In exchange, the Giovanni will drop the matter and will not bring it publicly before the prince's court. This is generous, as this is a breach of one of the traditions that we are dealing with here, gentlemen. Actually, this is a breach of two of the traditions we are dealing with here, gentlemen. So I consider this to be a fair price, as the prince is not known to be as generous, and I would very much rather my friend not be staked out to meet the dawn.
I accept these terms, my Primogen.
Good. I will contact the Giovanni and I will make certain arrangements. I am disappointed. I wish that to be known. You have served this clan for a long period of time, and yet this action is reckless. I would not even expect a newly embraced fledgling to treat the sanctity of domain and the powers of the blood in so flippant a manner.
My apologies, Wordsworth.
I am sure that you did not mean to cause the issue that you did. However, once again, this is not a matter of what could have been done or what should have been done. This is a matter of dealing with it as we are now.
I understand, my Primogen. While my intentions were not to cause an issue, despite this, an issue still has been raised of which I am responsible, and I apologize.
I will have the record show that you seemed to be genuinely contrite in this matter.
Thank
Now,
you, Wordsworth.
is there anything else that you gentlemen think I should know about this situation before I contact the Giovanni?
None of this unfortunate matter, but rest assured the information you received from the Medici was extremely beneficial, to say the least. Not anywhere near the cost it is, of course, now brought to bear upon your clan. For that, I offer my sincerest apologies, but I'm afraid I can take no responsibility.
That's not strictly true. You could not bear the responsibility, perhaps, but per the Seneschal's ruling, you will share in a. You would have shared in a more negative punishment were it not public. Or what? Sorry, was it not? Were it not derivative of boons? If it was to be taken from his flesh, for example, you would suffer the same fate.
If I remember correctly, his words were, should his proclivities extend to infernalism, you will, what was the word, share his fate? Yes. I don't believe that extended to any other actions that he might make, but tying my soul to that of Relius here, I'm sure is, well,
It is entirely possible that I am misunderstanding the sentiments of the Seneschal in this matter. I was only briefly told of this discussion in an antechamber outside the last Primogen Council meeting.
Well, needless to say, we had a rather unfortunate run-in with some creatures of the pit, and the issue has been resolved to the best of my abilities.
Yes, I am led to understand that is the case. But, gentlemen, I have kept you long enough, so I shall bid you all good evening.
Maybe meet under better circumstances. Good evening.
I hope that is indeed the. You are out of character. You sell rare books, don't you?
I do.
I would be delighted to come to your bookstore at some point. I'm led to understand that you have a fine collection.
Yeah. One of my ears like twitch. Oh, yes, sure. Here, and I get out my card. Call this number if you need anything. I'd be glad to help such a honored friend of myself, and of course, Relics here.
All right, and with that point, we will end our scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another scene in Darkness in Dublin. Have a pleasant evening.